Subnautica is far from a new game, and, in fact, as of writing, it is about to undergo early access for its third installment. But despite this, it remains relevant to this day, be it thalassophobes doing challenges, or just people replaying the game. Subnautica has easily earned its spot amongst gaming giants like The Forest or Terraria. On the surface, Subnautica is just a survival game, with the overall goal being escaping planet 4546b, and the in-between being surviving from day to day in the harsh undersea environment. But the game doesn't just let the player find resources, escape, and call it a day. On the contrary, Subnautica makes certain that you interact with important monuments, documents, and even characters, just to make sure you understand a basic level of what is going on. The average player who doesn't look too far into the game's lore will understand a few simple things. 4546b is overtaken by disease. An extinct race that came before was studying the disease and attempting to cure it, having quarantined the planet with a laser on the island. The disease is cured by enzymes from the Sea Emperor Leviathan, which the player helps to birth from their eggs, eventually curing the planet of the disease, allowing them to shut off the laser and go home. And hopefully a few more things that will be unveiled based on an exploration that varies from player to player. But this doesn't encompass nearly as much as it could. Subnautica is more than just a story of disease. Subnautica is a story of survival. The survival of the player and everything they face, and the survival of the crew of the Aurora. Or rather, their lack of such a thing. Throughout the game, the player can receive radio communications from various life pods, giving location markers to follow in hope of finding fellow survivors, but no matter when the player finds these life pods, their state remains the same. Empty. Empty, except for a few items and audio logs. These audio logs are all that remain of the former crew of the Aurora, and it is through them that we can glean information of what their time on this alien planet was like, and a rough idea of how they ceased to be. But they aren't just autobiographies. They're full of personality. Let's take a look at the first one, for example.
You really think it'll carry two of us?
Your regular sea glide tows a mass of 80 kilograms at over 30 kilometers an hour. The power cellar rig to this one should double that.
You think there's something out there that's faster?
I'm sure. And that's assuming it doesn't overload 3 meters from the life pod.
You're calm about this?
I'm seeing the engineering problem. If I stop seeing the maths, I'll be terrified.
As you can see, these audio logs aren't just, "Hi, my name is Jeff, and there is a monster outside waiting to kill me. I'm going to go out there." These are real human interactions. They feel natural. And yet, the player can still infer a general idea of how these people's stories ended. Throughout the game, the player can find 14 different audio logs that cover the survivors of the Aurora, some recorded whilst on the ship itself, others recorded within life pods on 4546b, and each log reveals the inner workings of the Aurora itself, as well as the personalities of each of its passengers. Life Pod 17 regales the player of Ozzy, who owned a cafe aboard the hulking starship, and his melodramatic reactions, as in his distress call, he seems to blame unseen others, likely referring to any survivors who hear his call. Reaching the life pod reveals that the hull has been smashed in, and while Ozzy himself did not reveal any known dangers, the player can find highly aggressive sand sharks nearby, which are likely to be the cause of this damage, as well as Ozzy's perishing.
How's his log? It's the day of the crash. I don't know what the heck is happening. I'm scared and I'm not going outside. There are shadows in the water under the hatch, but I can't tell if they're rocks or aliens. And there's weird-looking caves nearby. The Aurora was carrying everything needed to build the phase gate. Mobile vehicle bays, bioreactors, propulsion cannons. It had a cinema. There was a zero-G gym. My cafe. I don't understand how we're here now. I don't know why no one's coming for me.
Listening to Ozzy's voice log allows the player to realize just how scared he really was, despite his seeming anger during this distress call. He merely wanted to survive. They all did. The only person who seemed content with death amongst all of the Aurora's survivors was emissary Yohi Kassar, a Mongolian man seeming to be on the Aurora as a religious representative, or perhaps to assist in the search of the lost Mongolian Degasi crew. His log reveals that, because of his religion, he is content in death, and perhaps he got the most humane one of all because of it.
Live pod launch sequence initiated. Entering planetary atmosphere.
My creators, the cherishers and sustainers of worlds, give me this day my daily pleasures as I give to those who seek pleasures from me.
External temperature approaching critical levels.
Show me the path in life, truth, and love, for mine is the power. I am the one, on and off and on again.
Impact imminent.
Life is a game which the universe plays with itself. I am done playing as this bundle of flesh. Return me.
But, unfortunately for you, dear viewer, I lied earlier. The Aurora weren't the only humans on 4546b. In fact, the only reason they came close enough to the planet to be shot down by the quarantine enforcement weapon was because they had been tasked with scanning the planet in search of the aforementioned Degasi crew. By the time the Degasi crew started making audio logs, they've already been whittled down to a mere 3 people. The captain, Paul Torgal, his son and biologist, Bart Torgal, and the bodyguard they hired, Marguerite Maida. This trio is, to say the least, dysfunctional. Paul and Bart constantly argue due to Paul's overprotective nature clashing with Bart's curiosity, and Marguerite keeps pushing on the idea that help won't arrive and they need to go deeper in order to survive. Eventually, Paul relents. They leave their island habitat and head down to the Jelly Shroom Cave.
I thought it might get claustrophobic living underwater. Father feels it is. He'd tell me it was childish, but I stare out the window and sometimes I think how lucky I am to see this world up close. Back on the island, I wouldn't have believed the creatures that live down here. The fish, they glow. There's one that's 90% eyeball. Snakes twice the length of a habitat compartment. Certainly, it's not all friendly. Most of the plant life is toxic. Learned that the hard way. But I've managed to coax some marble melons into growing indoors. And when they don't cover our dietary needs, well, we eat the fish themselves. It's a bit gross, but it's nothing they wouldn't do. I've been attempting to document my findings. Father approves. He says understanding is power, that the more we know about this planet, the more we can use it to our advantage. I'm just doing it because it's fun. It's not easy without proper equipment and network access, but the old-fashioned way, observing, taking notes, testing theories, shows me the world in a way a spectroscopic analysis never could. Lately, I've been watching the crab snakes. They ambush their prey as it tries to feed on the mushrooms they hide in. What they don't eat settles on the seabed, which fertilizes the mushrooms, which feeds the herbivores, and so the chain continues. Co-evolution gives me the fuzzies.
It certainly had its benefits, but the base they constructed began falling apart earlier than they anticipated. They had to move, one way or another, and Marguerite once again convinced them to go even deeper.
We're already 200 meters below sea level. You want to go deeper?
Look around us, Chief. Water leaking through the hull, water outside the hatch. We're drowning real slow. If rescue arrives, whatever shot us down, it's gonna do it again and again until it's shut off. You see an off switch around here, Chief?
Why would it any more likely be half a kilometer down?
Your kid found something on the scanner. There's something down there. Something that shouldn't be.
You're mad.
I'm going all the same, and I have an idea you two are gonna follow. But if you do, be mindful. Your authority stopped at sea level.
They construct their final base in the Deep Grand Reef, where everything begins to go horribly wrong. The infection of the Kharaa bacteria is affecting them more. Personal relationships are falling apart, and Marguerite brings a Reaper Leviathan's corpse down for them to study. At this point, what can be assumed to be a Sea Dragon Leviathan has come up to feed, and seeing easy pickings in the already dead Reaper Leviathan, attacks the base.
I have had it with you risking our lives.
Oh, stow it, Chief. The kid can't kill this disease without fish to study. I'm just bringing him home.
What? Tell her. Tell her I'm right.
You're both wrong. Marguerite, I can't find out how they resist the bacteria if you slaughter them all.
It ain't always they oblige in coming in alive.
He means you're being reckless.
Father, the outcome's no better if we hole up in here and don't go outside. That we have to find a middle way.
There is no compromise. Not while she's on my sea base.
Your sea base?
I'm going outside.
Bard, Torgal has disembarked the habitat.
Bart, come in. It's dangerous. Damn it, boy. I know you can hear me.
Chief, get off the radio and put on your helmet.
What?
Brace!
Marguerite decides that this is the best time to fight and charges the Leviathan with nothing but a sea glide and a piece of scrap. Paul barely survived the hull breach, unable to do anything but swim around in search of his son, and is presumed to have been caught by a ghost Leviathan from the Lost River nearby.
Came out of nowhere. An alien kraken, bigger than a cyclops. Tore a hole clear through the reinforced hull. I barely got my breather in time. I told her. I said others would come. The rupture threw me clear of the habitat, and the monster turned and bore down on me. And just as its tentacles came within reach, Mater appeared out of nowhere. She had a sea glide in one hand, a jagged piece of scrap metal in the other. She meant to butcher that beast or die trying. The last I saw her, she had the metal lodged in its neck as the monster did its best to shake her, contorting off into the darkness. I'm certain she got her wish, one way or another. Then I thought I saw a light deep below me. I hoped maybe Bart had swum clear. I followed it. Now I wonder whether I saw anything at all. My oxygen is low. The habitat is gone. I can't see the sky. Something surely has the scent of my blood.
Bart is the only one to survive, having been able to ascend all the way back up to the surface and return to the original island base. But regardless of his safety from the fauna of 4546B, he's heavily infected with the Kharaa and dies a slow, painful death. Alone.
This is the first time I've seen sunlight in months. After all that time in the deep, I'd been dreaming of it. Now that I'm back here, I'm finding it hard to enjoy alone. Father was right. We should never have left this place. We shouldn't have gone so deep. They do not want us down there. Despite my best efforts, ill health is taking hold of me. The visions are getting worse. Marguerite and Father are now part of the ecosystem of this incredible planet. It's reassuring to know that when I go, I'll join them. Until then, well, there's always the view.
The player or rather, Riley Robinson, is the only survivor of this incident on 4546B, and as such, the only one able to know the stories of those who passed away on the planet. They cannot be remembered fully by anyone else. This collection of knowledge is Riley's, and Riley's alone. But he can share it. And he should. These stories deserve to be known. These people deserve to be remembered, regardless of what Alterra says.